We're gonna have some fun today. Thanks for having me on here, guys. It's fun to join you. I think it's been about a month since I was last on. So today, what we are going to talk about is charting in style, how I organize my custom chart styles. Tom, what do you think about that? Did you like what I did there? I put that in just for you. I know how you like the jokes.
I love it. I think that you are so witty. You are such a witty guy.
Good. Okay, that's a good start to my talk here. So, anyways, we're going to talk about chart styles today. It's a really important feature of stock charts, especially if you are a member. Before we do that, though, I want to introduce myself first. Now, I have been on here a couple times. I was on here about a month ago. So, for those of you who are regulars, uh, good to see you again. For those of you who are new to the show and you're wondering who I am and who this deep voice is on the other end of the line, my name is Grayson Roze. I am the business manager here at StockCharts.com. But what's fun for me about coming on the show like this and talking to you about things like chart styles, or about a month ago, I was talking to you about my custom chart list organization. What's fun for me about this is that I get to talk to you not as the stock charts guy necessarily, but also as a stock charts user, as a trader, as an investor. I am a trader and investor. I have been for quite a few years. I've actually written a couple of books. My most recent book was Trading for Dummies. That came out last year. And the year before that, actually, I published a book with my father called Tensile Trading, The 10 Essential Stages of Stock Market Mastery. So my point here is not to show off or anything like that. My point is that what I'm showing you today, what I'm talking to you about, is actually how I use stock charts as a trader, as an investor, how I use stock charts in my own money management. That's the point that I want to make here. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about chart styles. Now, chart styles, like I mentioned, are arguably the most important aspect of stock charts. Tom, you and I were talking about this a little bit before. I go back and forth. I get this question a lot. What's the most important feature of stock charts? In some ways, it's chart lists. In many other ways, it's scans and alerts. But in a lot of ways, it's chart styles, because that's really the starting place for everything. So
It's a big time saver.
it's a huge time saver. I'm going to run you through that today. I think you're going to get a clear picture of how much time this can save you and how important chart styles are. But for those of you that are saying, hold on, what the heck is a chart style? We're going to cover that in just a minute. After we do that, we're going to talk about your default chart style, which is the most important of all of the important chart styles. We're going to talk about style buttons, which really make it quick and easy to apply your chart styles across different security types, different time frames, things like that. And then I'm going to share with you my tip of the day. Always got to have a tip of the day. So, first off, chart styles. What is a chart style? Well, a chart style is a collection of sharp chart settings that sort of become this template for creating new charts. So, you've got all these indicators that you can choose from. You've got all these different overlays and different features that you can add to your charts. You can also change the period, the date range, the size, all of these things. Chart styles take those settings that you add below the chart on what we call the workbench, and it saves it. It saves it in your account for later use, so that when you pull up a new stock or a new fund, new ETF, new mutual fund, whatever it is, you can apply a specific chart style to it in one click. You don't have to go setting all of the features of the chart, all the indicators and the overlays manually every single time. So this is a huge time saver. You can create all of these different custom charts that you want to watch, different templates, if you will. You can save those in your account and you can apply them as you're going through the site, charting different stocks, different indices, different funds, like I said. So all of the settings, period, date range, size, type, colors, overlays, indicators, everything that you can create with a sharp chart gets saved in a chart style, and it's saved in your account. Now, the default chart style is the most important. So when you first go to the site, you come up with a new stock. You're looking at Amazon, you're looking at Apple, whatever it is. When you plug in that ticker symbol to the create a chart bar up at the top of any of our web pages, your default chart style is the one that comes up. Pretty simple. It's the most common chart style that you use. So that's going to come up automatically whenever you chart a new symbol. It's going to be the standard, the default, however you want to call it. It can be modified easily. It can be replaced easily. You can change your default chart style in just a couple of clicks. But the key is that we have a default chart style, the StockCharts default chart style. When you first come to the site, that's what you see. You can change that. If you become a member, you can create your own default chart style. You can totally modify it. Whatever you want to see on your charts, you can add that as your default chart style. So that's really important. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, we also have something called style buttons. There are basically two ways to manage your chart styles on the workbench, on the ChartCharts workbench. We're going to run through that in just a minute. But one of the keys is style buttons. We have these little buttons over on the left side of the chart, right to the left of your chart, that allow you to quickly apply your most commonly used chart styles. In just one click, you've got 12 buttons. You can apply different chart styles. You can also expand that menu. There's sort of a hidden menu there. You can expand the menu and actually manage your saved chart styles really, really easily. So that is going to come in handy with our tip of the day. The tip of the day here is something I want you to note. The order of your style buttons can be customized to your liking. You can rearrange those style buttons in any way you want. So if you organize your style buttons with custom chart styles for the different security types and the different time frames that you're watching, you can really, really improve sort of the efficiency of the workbench. When I was on here about a month ago, we were talking about the way that I organize my chart lists. And all that was, it was all about efficiency. Today, we're doing sort of a similar thing. We're talking about style buttons and chart styles, and it's all about efficiency. Tom and Aaron will tell you, any of our commentators will tell you, efficiency, running through the site. The best thing that they've done to set up their accounts is make their use of StockCharts more efficient. So we're going to show you how to do that with chart styles and style buttons in just a minute. So let's head on over to StockCharts. I'm going to click into full screen here. So I'm on the members dashboard. For those of you who are free users, you don't have an account, you're just joining us for free and using our tools for free. That's great. Thanks for coming. Glad to have you. But what you're seeing here is the dashboard. It's the members dashboard. When you log into your account, this is the first page that you see. So super important page. Want to point that out for everyone. But what we're looking at today is the ChartCharts workbench. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a symbol just for fun. We'll do the default. The one that everyone loves, Amazon.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Yeah, it's a small up and coming company. I think they're based out of Seattle or something like that. Whatever that is.
Small Seattle company.
Just like Facebook, never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, what you're seeing here is my default chart style. You can see these lines on here too. I've got something called the inspector on, which you can turn off. But that's another cool feature. We'll have to save that for another everything StockCharts in the future. But this is my default chart style. So anytime I pull up a new symbol, this is what I see. Now, I'm going to have to come on here probably next month and run you through my default chart style because there's some really cool things about it here, but we don't have time to get into it today. So we'll save that for another session. But what you're seeing is my default chart style. That comes up no matter what I chart. If I chart Apple, you're going to see that same chart style comes up. So it's always going to be there. That's my default.
Can you scroll down? Yeah, I was going to have you scroll down.
Yeah, so this is the first way to manage your chart styles. You'll see here we've got this little line here in the workbench called chart styles, and you can select any of the different chart styles that you have saved in your account. Now, the ones that are up here are going to be the ones that you've saved, and the ones down here are going to be the predefined chart styles that we've created for different authors. There's a Tom Bowley style. There's the Aaron Heim style. We've got all of these different save chart styles that you can also use. But your save chart styles that you've created for yourself are going to be right up here, okay? So to save a new chart style as a default, you just click right there, save as default. To add something as a new chart style, you click add new. If you go into a save chart style, maybe we pull up life cycle. Let's check that one out. And we want to modify some of the settings. Maybe we change this to a simple moving average. We change it to a 20-day simple moving average. Okay, so now I can hit replace, and I can actually replace any of the chart styles that I have in here. So that's a quick way to manage things. And you can also delete chart styles from here. It's a simple way to delete chart styles. So this is an important line. You can select your different chart styles right from there. Right from the drop down. You can also do some sort of light management here. Now, the menu that we really want to talk about here today is the style buttons and the style button menu. So you can see these buttons over here on the side, on the left side, and each one has a name. So as I hover over each button, you get the name. The name pops out. Now, I've carefully organized my style buttons for the way that I track the market and track different stocks and different funds that I watch. So if you click this little arrow here, well, first off, if you click one of the style buttons, let's say equity style. So now I've got Apple. It's my equity style. And if I want to switch to another chart style, maybe I want to watch Apple, a 20-day, 20 days worth of data, 1 minute data, intraday chart here. I can click right into that. So these style buttons allow me to switch between different chart styles really quickly. I even have a mobile chart style set up so that if I'm on my phone, I can click that style button right there and get sort of a better fitting chart right on my phone if I'm sort of charting on the go. So these style buttons are really important. The key here is that if you hit this little arrow, you're going to get this menu that pops out. Now, the menu is going to show you, again, all of our predefined chart styles down here at the bottom. So you can click any of those and chart with those. But it's also going to show you your saved chart styles. So these are all the different saved chart styles that I have in my own account. You're looking at my account. So everything above this little buttons line, those are your style buttons. You get 12 of them. So the 12 most common styles, chart styles that you use in your account can be added up here, okay? So what you can see here is that I've created different chart styles, again, for different security types and different time frames. So I have an equity style, which is my default. I also have a weekly equity style. So if I want to look at things over a little bit longer time frame, I've got a weekly style that I can check out. If I'm looking at an ETF, maybe I'm looking at one of the sector funds, I can pull up the ETF style, which is totally different. If I want to look at a shorter, this is actually going to be, we can pull that up, and let's put in financials. Let's do XLF here. You can see, again, I can click these style buttons, switch it to my ETF style. So now I'm looking at a 1-year chart of an ETF, and I've taken off a couple of those things up at the top. This is a little bit modified version of my equity style. I also have a shorter term ETF style, 4 months. I have a longer term ETF style. That's a weekly chart over a couple of years. I have a mutual fund style, which is totally different. If we do a mutual fund, you can see it's different. I look at mutual funds in a different way. Those are a bit longer term, so I like a longer term chart style over a couple of years. I have different indicators that I look at for a mutual fund. So again, that's one of my style buttons. I have that mobile style, like I mentioned, and I have intraday styles. I have a 2-day intraday style, and I have a 20-day intraday style, which allowed me to see specifically for stocks that I'm watching and stocks that I'm trading. Allows me to find good entry points on sort of an intraday chart, more zoomed in, much narrower time frame there. So anyways, the point here is that I've organized my chart styles, and these are draggable. So if you want to move them down, you want to move the equity style down there, you can drag and drop these wherever you want. You can totally reorganize your style buttons. So for me, what's key here is that every time I come to the workbench, let's say I pull up a new stock. Okay, I got CME here. Every time I come here, I know that I've got this equity style button right there. If I pull up an ETF, I've got this ETF style button 2 down right there. If I pull up a mutual fund, it's right there. It's really, really quick and easy for me to switch between all of these different styles. And depending on what you're watching, again, depending on whether it's an ETF, a stock, a mutual fund, whether you want to watch it over a longer term view or you want to sort of zoom in on intraday data, you can program those in here. You can save those different chart styles and really quickly jump between those different views. So one other quick note here in the Style Button Manager, this little edit button makes it really quick and easy to edit names. So again, you can just delete that, type a new name, equity style that's new. Hit enter, and there we go. I got my new name in there. You can also delete styles right from here, and this little check mark, actually, if you hover over it, it'll tell you, but it's a set as default. So if you want to change one of these to your default, maybe you want to go down here and make this sector ETF style my default. Wouldn't want to do that, actually, but you can do that with this little check mark. Hit done, all that pops back. So super, super easy way to manage your chart styles right here in the Style Button Manager. You just click that little arrow and it pops out. And style buttons, again, Tom and I were having this argument right before the show. What's the most important feature on StockCharts? Is it chart lists? Is it scans? Is it alerts? In some ways, I think it is chart styles. I really do. It's a complete game changer when it comes to your efficiency of the site. And it really enhances your use of StockCharts. especially when you organize your chart styles in sort of a way that makes sense to you, like I've done here, as you can see.
Grayson.
So, yeah, Tom, hit me.
First of all, great presentation there. You did it a lot better. I actually talked about chart style and buttons and so forth, not maybe a couple weeks ago, but you did a much better job, I think. I was interested, though, you have a mobile chart style button. Is there certain settings, and this is just a question for me, because I've actually gone into the site on my phone before, and I didn't realize that I'm going to have to set up one of these chart style buttons. What are the settings? Are there particular settings that you want to use for your phone?
Yeah, let's dive into that really quick. It's mostly a size thing. So our charts, you can choose the size that fits you best. We've got huge charts. If you're a member, you can create massive full screen charts up to 2,500 pixels wide. What I've done with my mobile style is I've just chosen a small chart width. So for me, it's 460. You can even go smaller and go 360. That'll fit really well on an iPhone or something. But for me, I've chosen a size of 460. And then I've actually just kind of limited the indicators that I want to watch. I've also made it black so that it's totally different from anything else that I'm looking at. Generally, I do use the sunset chart style. Tom, I know you just switched away from that, but I do use the sunset chart style in some instances. But my mobile style is black so that it's totally different. And I've kind of slimmed down what I'm watching here. So, again, my equity style is pretty huge. I'm going to have to schedule another Everything Stock Charts to go over the stuff that's on here. But this is a long chart style with a lot of different indicators that I'm watching. If I'm on my phone, I'm not doing detailed analysis. I just want to kind of get a quick picture of what's going on. So I've got the full quote up here. You can see that right here. So I've got this full quote option clicked on. I have the MACD on this chart. I've got two moving averages, just a 20-day and a 50-day. I do have volume, and I've got on-balance volume as well. So it's kind of a slimmed-down version of the stuff that I'm normally watching. But the main thing is size. So you go here to this size menu, you narrow down the size, and you save that chart style away. It makes it a little easier to watch things on a phone. Now our site is responsive, so if you do want to load the workbench on your phone, it's gonna scale down to the screen. You're gonna be able to view everything. But the mobile style, making a smaller chart that's kind of got fewer options on it, fewer indicators, it makes it a little easier. If you are doing a lot of charting on your phone, it makes it a little easier to see things when you've just kind of got more of a slimmed down chart style to watch. So it's a good tool. It's a good trick.
Okay, there was a question in here. I think a couple people were asking, that they don't see the style buttons, but if they haven't set it up yet, you're just going to see that those two little, that little caret and the plus sign, I guess.
Right. If you've got no style buttons in here, you'll notice that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 style buttons.
How many can you have, Grayson?
You can have up to 12. So I've got 9. I don't have the other 3. If I do add 3 more, then those are going to show up. If you have no style buttons set, then yeah, you're gonna only have this little arrow and this little plus. You can always, again, click that arrow and take one of these save chart styles and just drag it up into here. So if I take index view, actually that's a good one to have up there as a style button. Now you'll see that this reloaded, and I've got index view down here as another style button. So it's easy to add those. You can also, if you do select one from down here, for example, I take candle glance and edit properties. You can assign a button in this little menu here. You can change the name and change the button position there, and you'll see you've got 12 slots here. So you can add one to one of your 12 style button slots. Now total, I believe it's 50 chart styles that you can create. It's either 25 or 50. I should know that off the top of my head, but it's a big number of chart styles that you can create. If you're a member, you can really go crazy with all your different chart styles. So the style buttons, you've only got 12 of those, but chart styles total, which you can again see here, you can create tons and tons of chart styles. It's really a big number there. So
yeah, and I just want to point out too, if you have a screen and you're looking at a chart and you say, hey, I want to save this. I really, this is exactly what I want to look at each day when I look at my stocks. All you have to do is click that plus button that's there. If you don't have any right now, just click the plus button. It'll come out and just name it, whatever it is, my favorite style.
Yeah.
And, add it. And as soon as you add it, then it'll be there. Then you'll have your first button. So I think
that's a great point. I mean, look, I just pulled up Aaron Heim's chart style here, but let's say I just kind of stumbled across this. I was creating the settings, and I wanted to add this. There you go, right there.
Of course you do. It's the best.
Great style.
Yeah. So that's how you get started. It's really easy, and this will be such a big time saver if you don't use this.
Yeah, no, it's a huge time saver. When you pair chart styles with chart lists, it's incredible what you can do. It really is. That is the heart and soul of StockCharts. That is the biggest reason to subscribe, is the ability to save things to your account. So you don't have to always go to the workbench and update the indicators and add new overlays and everything every time you come. If you become a member, all of that stuff is stored right in your account. It's there right when you want it. So huge time saver.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Grayson. We certainly, I'm sure there are a bunch of folks here that just got something that they probably didn't know about StockCharts before.
That's the goal.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay.